So you have been waiting for this moment for a long time. So today we begin the exposition of the Four Noble Truths with the permission of the abbot of Dhammadibba Meditation Center here in Tokyo. Now, the Four Noble Truths were discovered and then penetrated and revealed by the Buddha. Now, Buddha had to go through countless lives to accumulate the perfections or paramis just to be able to discover the Four Noble Truths and then teach the Four Noble Truths to all beings. Buddha had so much compassion that he was willing to suffer in the samsara for a very long time. Now, it is said in the books that the time he spent in the samsara cannot be measured even by millions of world cycles. Now, you all know that in order to become a Buddha, he had to go through how long a time? 4 incalculables and 100,000 world cycles. Now, even one world cannot be measured in terms of years or in terms of centuries. So even one world cycle is so long that it cannot be described in terms of years or centuries. The 4 asankhya's, that means 4 immeasurables, that means 1 followed by 140 zeros is called 1 incalculable. This is the number we use, like in science. So in astronomy, when they want to describe the life of some stars, they use what do they use? Light years, right? It's something like that. So long that it is almost immeasurable. So during those lives, Buddha suffered a lot, accumulating the paramis, so that at the end he became qualified and he became the Buddha. Actually, he discovered and penetrated the Four Noble Truths and he became the Buddha. And after he became the Buddha, he taught for how many years? Buddha taught for 45 years. So Buddha taught for 45 years, and during those 45 years, Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths again and again. And what the Buddha taught, including the Four Noble Truths, were collected and recorded just about 3 months after his parinibbana. You understand the word parinibbana? Parinibbana means passing away, death. So just 3 months after his death, disciples of the Buddha who survived him met at a council and collected all his teachings, including the Four Noble Truths, and recorded them by word of mouth. There were no books at those times, so they all memorized what the Buddha taught. And these teachings were handed down from generation to generation until about 450 years after the death of the Buddha. So about that year, the teachings of the Buddha were written down on palm leaves, manuscripts. And these were also handed down from generation to generation until today, until this time. And also our teachers, maybe beginning with the Venerable Mahakassapa, taught or explained these Four Noble Truths to their devotees, to their pupils, and these expositions were also handed down from generation to generation until today. And that kind of exposition you find in the book in front of you, in the Visuddhimagga. So we should be grateful to the Buddha for enduring such suffering for a long period of time, just to be able to teach the Four Noble Truths to all beings. Because only by the realization of Four Noble Truths can one attain enlightenment. And Buddha's aim is for beings to gain enlightenment so that they could make an end of suffering. They could get out of this samsara full of suffering. So, at the beginning of this talk or this class, let us pay homage to the Buddha and also to the Dhamma and to the Sangha and to our teachers. So please fold your hands up and repeat after me. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to the compassionate and omniscient One, who suffered for a long time, immeasurable, even by millions of world cycles, doing the practices that are extremely difficult to do. Okay, please bow down 3 times. Next, please repeat after me again. To the Dhamma now. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to the Four Noble Truths, discovered, penetrated, and revealed by the compassionate Buddha. Please bow down again. And now to the Sangha. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to the Sangha, who brought the teaching of the Four Noble Truths down to the present time. Okay. Please bow down. And now to our teachers. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to our teachers, who gave us this rare chance to understand the Four Noble Truths by their excellent exposition, without which we cannot understand the Four Noble Truths properly. Okay. Please bow down. Now, before we go right into the Four Noble Truths, we should understand when Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths first. Now, I hope you know that Buddha appeared over 2,500 years ago, and he attained enlightenment as the Buddha on what day? When did he become the Buddha? On what day? You've heard about Vesak Day?
Yes.
When was that?
In
May, right? Full moon day. On the full moon day of May, the ascetic Gautama became the Buddha. So on that day, Buddha to be went to the Bodhi tree, right? He sat down under the Bodhi tree about sundown, sunset, and then practiced meditation. So he practiced meditation and the mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati meditation, and he gained first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. And then he gained also the immaterial jhanas, first, second, third, and fourth. And then during the first part of the night, he gained a supernormal knowledge, a great knowledge by which he could remember all his past lives. He gained a knowledge by which he could remember, he could recall all his lives in the past. And that happened during the first part of the night. We will divide the night into three parts. So during the first part of the night, he gained as far as the supernormal knowledge. In Pali, it is called abhinya. So he gained that knowledge. So he was able to see his past lives. And then he went on practicing meditation. And during the second part of the night, he gained another supernormal knowledge. By that supernormal knowledge, he was able to see beings dying from one existence and being reborn in another existence. So he saw, as it were on a screen, say beings dying and then being reborn. So he saw that one being dies and then he is reborn in hell, another being dies and he is reborn in celestial existence, and so on, because they did kusala karma or akusala karma in their lives. So he saw the working of the law of karma very clearly, as it were on a screen. Suppose a being dies and he is reborn in hell, and he also knew that because this being did evil deeds, akusala means evil deeds in his previous life, and so he was reborn in hell, and then another being died and then reborn in devas or celestial world because he did some good karma. in the previous life. So he was able to see that good karma produces good results and bad karma produces bad results. So that supernormal knowledge he gained during the second watch of the night. And he went on practicing, and during the third watch of the night, he contemplated on the Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination. He take each factor in the dependent origination and practiced vipassana on these factors. Are you familiar with the factors of Paticca Samuppada, like ignorance, karma formations, and so on? You are not? Okay. So he took each one of the 12 factors of Paticca Samuppada and practiced vipassana on each of these factors. So he practiced vipassana again and again and again on the factors and the dependent origination, and at dawn he gained enlightenment. That means he discovered the Four Noble Truths, he penetrated the Four Noble Truths, and so he became a Buddha. Now the word Buddha means one who knows, and also one who makes other people know. So there are two meanings in the word Buddha. Now we should understand this, because most people know that Buddha means one who knows, but that is just one part of the meaning. So Buddha is the one who knows and who makes other people know. That means who knows the Four Noble Truths and makes other beings know the Four Noble Truths. Nowadays, people may talk about Four Noble Truths, or they may teach about Four Noble Truths. That is because Buddha first discovered, and then Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths to all beings. That is why they could teach Four Noble Truths following the teachings of the Buddha. Well, Buddha was the person who first discovered the Four Noble Truths and then taught the Four Noble Truths to the world. So the word Buddha means one who knows Four Noble Truths and also who makes other people know the Four Noble Truths. Now, after he became the Buddha, he spent about 2 months under the Bodhi tree and near the Bodhi tree. Now, you may have been to India. No, not yet. Okay. So, there are places where Buddha gained enlightenment and where he was born and so on. So Buddha stayed almost 2 months under and near the Bodhi tree. And exactly 2 months after his enlightenment, on the full moon day of what? 2 months after his enlightenment, July, so this month, right? So exactly 2 months after his enlightenment, on the full moon day of July, Buddha went to Banaras, Varanasi. It's a long way, but Buddha went there and preached his first sermon to his 5 disciples. So at that time, his disciples, previous to that day, or maybe about 1 or 2 months, I'm not sure how long, these disciples were disillusioned with the Bodhisattva's practice. And so they left the Bodhisattva and went to another place. So after the Buddha became the Buddha, he thought of teaching. So he thought of teaching his first disciples. So at that time they were a distance away from the Buddha Gaya, where Buddha gained enlightenment. So Buddha went to them to Varanasi, or a place called Isipatana. So they were there, and Buddha went to them and taught his first sermon. Now his first sermon is called what? Turning the wheel of the Dhamma, right? Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So that means turning the wheel of the Dhamma. In that discourse, the first discourse he ever gave to the world, Buddha mentioned the Four Noble Truths. So now we understand how important the Four Noble Truths are. The first sermon is a very important sermon, because in it he disclosed his own discovery and also his main and central teaching. So in that sutta, in that discourse, the Buddha explained to them the Four Noble Truths. And later, during 45 years, Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths again and again. Now, it is a little strange to say that there are four truths. Now, people always say there is only one truth, and different teachers explain it in different ways. That is what people used to say. But in Buddhism, there is not just one truth. Buddha taught that there are four truths. So according to the Buddha, or the teachings of the Buddha, truth means something that is true, that is not untrue, that is not otherwise than is stated. So according to this definition, truth can be anything, whether it is good or it is bad. Anything that is true is truth. Now fire has the burning power, right? So when we say fire is burning or fire is hot, we are stating a truth, because it is true that fire is hot and it burns. That is why in Buddhism, truth may be either good or bad. Now among the Four Noble Truths, the second noble truth is craving. Craving, attachment, greed. So craving is an unwholesome mental state, a bad mental state. But that bad mental state, which is called tanha in Pali, is called a noble truth. Because tanha is the real thing that produces dukkha, that produces suffering. So something that produces suffering is called the origin of suffering. So since it is the origin of suffering, since it is the cause of suffering, it is called one truth. Because it is true, it is correct that it produces suffering. Since it produces suffering and it is a fact, the craving is called a truth. Not only a truth, here it's called noble truth of the cause of suffering. That is because it is discovered by the noble person who was the Buddha. So anything that is true is called truth in Buddhism. And according to the Buddha, there are 4 truths. And they are not only called 4 truths, but they are called 4 noble truths. That means they were discovered by the noble one, the noblest of the noble, the best of the noble persons that is discovered by the Buddha. Since they were discovered by the Buddha, who was the noblest of the nobles, these truths are called noble truths. So there are, according to this, 4 noble truths. Okay, now what are the 4 noble truths? You know them? What are the 4 noble truths? Huh? The 4 noble truths. Huh? The noble truth of suffering. Huh? Okay, number 1, the noble truth of suffering. And number 2, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. And number 3, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. And number 4, the noble truth of okay, this is like a class, huh? Not like a Dhamma talk, so you have to do something. So number 4, the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Huh? Now, you may go to wait. First, you have to find out the chapter 16. Then you can go to paragraph number 13. There you find the 4 noble truths. There, so you find the 4 noble truths there? Yes. So the first one, noble truth of suffering. The second one, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. And the third one, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. And number 4, right, the noble truth of the way leading to or reaching the cessation of suffering. So these are the 4 noble truths taught by the Buddha in that first sermon. So you want to ask some questions about the noble truth of suffering? Now, number 4 is a group of 50 mental states. One of these 50 mental states is in English volition and in Pali cetana. Cetana. And that Cetana is also called Sankhara, because it conditions other mental states, or it helps other mental states to do their own function. But here, the name of the Cetana, Sankhara, is applied to all 50 mental states. And so all 50 mental states are called Sankhara aggregate. Actually, Sankhara is just one, but it is the leader of all these 50 mental states, and so all 50 mental states are called Sankhara aggregate. But in fact, Sankhara is the name of Cetana, or volition, which is just one among the 50 mental states. Now you understand? Any more questions? No? Okay. In order to understand the first noble truth in depth, what must you do?
You have to do vipassana meditation.
So reading books enough? No. Listening to talks enough? No. So you have to see it for yourself, right? So in order to see it for yourself, you have to practice, because this kind of understanding cannot be borrowed from any other person. I cannot transfer it to you, and you cannot transfer it to me. You have to do your own, you have to make your own effort, and I have to make my own effort. So that is one aspect of Buddha's teachings. Buddha's teachings actually cannot be transferred to another person. I cannot give my samadhi to you, right? You cannot give your samadhi to me. What I can do is give you instructions how to get samadhi, right? Because samadhi is in your mind, and I cannot enter in your mind and then make samadhi there. So in Buddha's teachings, we have to rely on ourselves for understanding, for the true understanding of, say here, the noble truth of suffering. And the noble truth of suffering can be understood only when we practice vipassana meditation. We may think that we understand noble truth by reading books and listening to talks, but still our understanding is not enough, or not deep enough. So we have to understand it deeply, so that even what are called pleasures in the world, we understand them as dukkha, or suffering. And also when we understand this, we can easily accept the Buddha's teaching that all 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. And when we understand this, we will not accuse Buddha of being a pessimist. You know the word pessimist? So many people say that Buddha was pessimistic, right? Buddha's teachings are pessimistic, because they say we don't like Buddhists because you always talk about dukkha, right? But what we are saying is not just what is bad in the world, I mean in life, it is a fact. So what Buddha said was the fact, not just one part of the fact. And Buddha did not stop at saying there is dukkha. Buddha also said that there is a cause of this dukkha, and there is the cessation of this dukkha, and there is a way that will lead you to the cessation of dukkha, right? So how can we accuse Buddha of being a pessimist? A pessimist is, oh, it is dukkha, and then you cannot do anything, right? You have to just surrender to dukkha and do nothing. But Buddha did not say that. Buddha did not stop there. First, he told us that, oh, life is suffering. Life is suffering because it is suffering. It is a fact. It is a reality. And then he didn't stop there, but he said, and that suffering has a cause. And I have discovered that cause. And then that suffering can be made to end. That suffering will come to cessation. And here is how, what to do to end that suffering. Okay, now, in order to understand the Four Noble Truths, you have to understand a simile of a doctor. A doctor first diagnoses a patient, right? So he examines the patient, and then he says, you have this disease. And then he will tell him, I know what causes this disease. Then the patient wants to know, can my disease be cured? Buddha said, yes, it can be cured. It can come to cessation. Then he will ask, the patient will ask, what medicine should I take? Then the doctor will give him medicine. In the same way, Buddha gave us the Four Noble Truths. So if you understand that simile, you understand the Four Noble Truths. Okay. So now we come to the second noble truth, the noble truth of the origin of suffering, or the noble truth of the cause of suffering. So Buddha did not discover that everything in the world is suffering, but he also discovered the cause of this suffering. Now, it is important for all beings to get rid of suffering. We don't like suffering, and we always want to get free from suffering. But when we want to get free from suffering, we must know what causes this suffering. Suffering is already here, and we cannot just crush it. So if we want to get free from suffering, we must know what causes this suffering. Until we know the cause of suffering, we will not get free from suffering. We will not get anything to get free from suffering. Like a disease, right? A person has a disease, and if the doctor doesn't know what causes this disease, he cannot cure it. Only curing the symptoms is not the real answer. So you must deal with or treat the cause of that disease. So in the same way, now we have this disease of suffering. Then we want to get rid of this disease. Then what must we do? We must first find out what causes this disease. And when that cause is found and destroyed, then the disease will disappear. So this is in this logic that we must understand the second noble truth, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. It is said that Buddhas always always get to the cause and not to the effect. Something like, say there is a mango tree. There are mango fruits now. Since they are already fruits and on the trees, we cannot destroy them. Let us say we don't want the mango fruits. But now they are on the tree and we cannot do anything about this. But if we do not want the fruits in the future, we can do something. Say we can put chemicals in the roots and so on, so that the tree loses its ability to produce fruits, right? So in that way we can do. So that means we can act on the cause, not on the effect, because effect is already here and we cannot do anything about it. But we can do something about the cause of this effect. So when the cause is treated, when the cause is removed, then the effect is also removed. So it is very important that we know the cause of this suffering. So in finding the cause of suffering, or in pointing out the cause of suffering, Buddhism stands unique among all religions. Now you have heard about other religions, right? So they may point out to creation of the God or the Brahma as a cause for everything in the world, right? God created this world, or the great Brahma created this world, and they end there. But in Buddhism, no God, no creator God or Brahma is recognized. Instead, Buddha pointed out that this is the cause of suffering, not the creation of the Brahma, not the creation of the God, but this craving. This is the cause of suffering. So if we want to get rid of suffering, if we want to destroy suffering, we must destroy the cause of that suffering. And Buddha said, I have discovered that cause of suffering. And that cause of suffering is stated as tanha in Pali. And tanha is translated as craving. You crave for something. You long for something. But the word tanha, the literal meaning of the word tanha is thirst. Thirst for sensual objects, thirst for sensual pleasures, and that thirst is called tanha in Pali. But nowadays this word is translated as craving. So Buddha pointed out that the cause of this suffering is tanha, or craving, or attachment. And that tanha is described as producing rebirth. Now you may turn to paragraph 61. So you see there, how is it said there? Producing rebirth or something. Pono bhava, pono bhavika.
Thus it produces
Further becoming? Yeah. So this thirst or tanha or craving produces rebirth. So whatever rebirth we had is the result of this tanha. Now we had tanha in the past lives, and that tanha produces rebirth here, say, we as human beings. So we are born as human beings because we had tanha in the past. And we still have tanha in this life here. So this tanha will produce or create new rebirth in the future. So in this way, it goes on like a chain reaction. The tanha here producing tanha, the rebirth there, and the tanha there producing rebirth in yet another existence, and so on. So this tanha has the ability to produce rebirth. So whatever rebirth we had is actually the result of that tanha in the past. So this tanha has the power or ability to produce rebirth. And this tanha is again accompanied by delight or something. In Pali it is called Nandiraga. That means that the delight and attachment is the same as craving. And then the last one is, how is it translated there?
What is meant is that it is identical meaning.
Next one.
It's a particle. Its meaning is which is that.
Before that, tatra binandini, taking delight in this or that existence.
Oh, concerned with this and that. Whatever personality is generated, that there is concern with that.
Okay, that means this tanha, wherever a person is reborn, the first active moment in that life is accompanied by tanha. Even if you are born in hell, you will be attached to that life because of that tanha. So this tanha is take delights in here and there. That means in this life and that life. Where in whatever life you are reborn, even as a small insect, the first moment, the first active moment in that life is accompanied by that attachment to that life. That is why we say life is precious to every being or something like that. So even though a person may be a cripple, he is attached to his life, right? He doesn't want to die. So wherever a person is reborn, this tanha arises as the first active conscious moment in that life, and that is attachment to that life. And that tanha is said to be of three kinds. Now I want you to understand these three correctly, because sometimes the translations are just the translation of the word is misleading. So there are three kinds of tanha, and they are in Pali kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. I think you can find that in Visuddhimagga there, 61. After what are they? Kama tanha. thirst for sense desire or something. It is said that I will talk about them later, right? And does he give the chapter number and paragraph number where you can find the
Chapter 17.
so you go to that chapter 17 and paragraph number also?
14.
Hmm?
I'm not sure.
Hmm?
The six cravings for things visible.
What is the paragraph number? 235?
233.
So go to 235.
235.
What do you find there?
When visible data craving offers enjoyment with sense desire, enjoyment of visible data as object that has come into the focus of the eye, it is called craving for sense desires.
So there are three kinds of tanha. No? Kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. First, it says there are six kinds of tanhas. That is, tanha for visible objects, tanha for sounds, tanha for smells, taste, touch, and dhammas. So there are six kinds of tanhas. Each one of those tanhas can be of three kinds also. So they are kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. So how is kama tanha translated there?
You don't have it.
Hmm?
Actually, it has it.
235. It is called kama tanha when it arises, being delighted with something like that.
Craving for becoming.
That is the second one. The first one, craving for sensual.
Or not becoming.
No, the first one, sensual craving for sensual desires.
Visible data craving. Craving for sense desire.
Right. That is the one. So that is kama tanha. So craving for sense desire. Actually, craving for sense objects. Now, the objects are all called sense objects because they can be seen, they can be heard, they can be smelled, and so on. So everything we see, we experience in the world, we can call objects of senses. Say object of the eye, object of the ear, and so on. And craving for those objects is called kama tanha. Now you want a new house, right? That is kama tanha. You want a new car, that is kama tanha, and so on. Because it is craving for the objects of the senses. So you are attached to something, and you are pleased with that attachment. You are pleased with that thing. So that is called Kama Tanha. And the next one is,
Craving for becoming.
yeah, that is what I don't like. The translation is one thing and the meaning is another. Now you read further. What does it say?
Craving for non-becoming. Oh. When visible data craving offers enjoyment of sense desire, enjoyment of visible data as occupants come into the focus of the eye, it is called craving.
No.
Oh.
When it is accompanied,
But when that some visible data craving occurs along with eternity view that assumes that same object to be lasting and eternal, it is called craving for becoming.
right?
For it is greed accompanying the eternity view that is called craving for becoming.
Okay, so bhava tanha. Now there are two words, bhava and tanha. Now here bhava does not mean existence. Bhava here implies something, the view that things are permanent. That is why the same tanha accompanied by this view that things are permanent is called bhava tanha. It is not craving for existence, because craving for existence can be kama tanha. Existence is also the object of sense. But that kama tanha, when it is accompanied by this wrong view that beings are permanent, that things are permanent, then it is called bhava tanha. So bhava tanha does not mean craving for existence, but craving accompanied by a wrong view that assumes everything to be permanent. Now there are views like, say, there is an atta in beings, and this atta is eternal, it is permanent, and so taking that to be permanent is called a wrong view in Buddhism, and the tanha that is accompanied by that wrong view is called bhava tanha.
Craving accompanied by wrong view
That assumes that all things are permanent, something like that. So that tanha is called bhava tanha. The next one,
craving for non-becoming.
okay, that is more frightening. Craving. Once I gave a book to a man, and then about a week later he came back and said, in Buddhism suicide is okay. Buddha allowed suicide. I was surprised, and I asked him, why do you say this? Then he said, here Buddha has taught that craving for annihilation. So craving for annihilation means craving for suicide. So it is okay, he said. So here vibhava tanha means not craving for non-existence. It is the same as the second one. Craving that is accompanied by a wrong view that things are annihilated at death. Okay, you read Visuddhimagga.
When it occurs along with annihilation, view that assumes that same object to break up and be destroyed, is called craving for non-becoming.
Yeah.
It is the greed accompanying the annihilation view that is called craving for non-becoming.
Yes. Yeah. So the translation is not so good. The explanation is all right. Yeah. The English translation of the word is not so good. So craving accompanied by the wrong view that assumes things to break up and no more, say, something like that. Now, there are, say, two kinds of views that are called wrong in Buddhism. So one is the eternity view. That means beings are eternal, things are eternal, and so on. And there is another view that takes beings, once they die, and there is no more for them. So when the tanha is accompanied by that wrong view, then it is called bhava tanha or vibhava tanha. So it is not craving for existence, and it is not craving for non-existence, but it is craving that is accompanied by that wrong view, eternity view or annihilation view. So that we must understand clearly. So you cannot go by just the translation. Translations are misleading. So there are three kinds of tanha now: kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Whatever tanha it is, it will always produce rebirth. So that is why it is called rebirth producing. Now actually it is not only tanha, but along with tanha we have to understand ignorance and kama. So these three arise together and actually produce new life, a new existence. When we say here tanha, actually this tanha is accompanied by the volition cetana and all cetana or kama, and also accompanied by avijja or ignorance. Now ignorance is like blindfolding a man. Say there are three men and they caught one man, and then one of the men blindfolds the man, and the second man turns this man towards a precipice, say at the edge of a mountain, and a big hole there, right? As a mountain. So, and then the third man pushes him down. So something like that. So when a person is said to be reborn in another existence, avijja, ignorance, makes him not see the things as they really are. And then tanha makes him attached to the life, and then kama pushes him down, and then he is reborn in the next life. So when there is a next life or rebirth, these three mental factors are working together actually. Not just tanha, not just kama, not just ignorance. So these three are like a party of three. So one blindfolds the man, the other turns him to the precipice, and then the last one pushes him down. So in the same way, avijja makes us not see the faults of the life. That is why we are attached to things. Then this attachment to life makes a person who is dying to incline towards the next life, and then cetana or kama comes and pushes him to the next life. So although tanha is mentioned here as a cause of dukkha, we must understand that it is not only tanha, but also avijja or ignorance and kama are involved. Tanha is mentioned here because it is prominent. It is evident, and so what is evident is mentioned here as the cause. And also, when tanha arises, according to Abhidhamma, the cetana also arises and avijja also arises. They always arise together. So when one is taken, the others are also taken. When we say tanha, we do not take tanha only, because suppose there are the three things connected with a thread, right? So you pick up one thing, and then the other two also comes with the thread. So in the same way, when we say tanha, we just don't mean tanha only, actually, but tanha along with the ignorance and the kama or cetana. But it is prominent here, and so tanha only is mentioned here as the cause of suffering. Actually, the others are also cause of suffering.